working, and then up at age 65 you can get your state pension. And having said that, you can actually defer your state pension as well. You don't have to get it at 65. You can ask that, no, I will take it perhaps next year. You know, they increase that pension. So all these options are available to you. And you know, there are many people who love to work. They don't want to retire. And these days there is no compulsion for you to retire at age 65 either.
I think we should just take our pension as early as possible, because you don't know how long you're going to live. So take it while you can. Otherwise, what happens to the pension when you go?
No, you are absolutely right. And that's the view I took myself. You know, they say a bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
That's it.
So, you know, you might as well
I
get
don't
it.
even have a bird in my hands.
We'll sort you out, inshallah. Yeah. But, you know, Sammy, the other thing which is quite important is, you know, with this recession that we've been having, a lot of people have been having difficulty, a lot of businesses have been having difficulty in paying their taxes, whether it be self-employed people paying their income tax, or limited companies paying their corporation taxes, or even the VAT. Now the government has had a scheme for some time whereby you've been able to come to an arrangement with HM Revenue and Customs to pay your taxes over a period of time. So this has been, you know, for many businesses a lifesaver. But this has now been extended by the Chancellor in the budget. He announced that the scheme to defer paying their tax bill will be extended into the next Parliament as well. So you've got another 4 or 5 years, you know, whereby this scheme will be available.
For this year's tax, so like say for example I'm due tax for this April. Okay. When do I have to pay it? How long have I got?
No, for self-employed people, they pay taxes in installments, which is January and July. Now, you might not have been able to pay all your tax bill in January, so you come to an arrangement with the Inner Revenue, HM Revenue and Customs, that look, I will pay you X amount in February, X amount in April, and so on, so that, you know, it gives me a couple of months. They still charge you for that, but it's given you a bit of extra month. So that facility is going to carry on. And the Chancellor has said that it will be there for the next 4 or 5 years as well. So that's really a plus, as far as this is concerned.
It can be very useful. I mean, in business you need, you know, the money to just keep circulating as much as possible. So some people, they put their tax dues aside in a different account, and they just pay it as soon as they get the tax bill. They just pay it straight away online. And some people prefer to use as much of that money as possible to buy stock and sell and trade more, and at the last minute they just pay their tax.
That's right. Well, it depends on individuals. If you are quite a disciplined person, it's always a good idea that you put the money, the tax money, the VAT money separately, so that when it does come and the bills are to be paid, you are able to, you know, pay that off quickly. But yes, there are others, you know, businessmen, they like to take risks, don't they? They say, yes, I can utilize this money, maybe turn it around quicker and pay it.
So what happens when you're late? Or have they become more flexible now, or they've just said no, you're still going to fine you, because they fine you hard?
The fines are late. The fines are there. If you are late in submitting, for example, your tax return, you'll be fined.
That's right.
If you are late in paying your tax, you will be charged for that. So that system still stays there. So as far as I think the time scales are concerned, whether it's the VAT returns, and you know VAT returns from April will have to be done electronically.
I didn't know that.
Yes, unless your turnover is less than 100,000, they will have to be done electronically from this April. But more important it is that you should try and make sure that you meet all the deadlines, whether it's your self-assessment tax returns, and we'll talk about it, we'll have a program on the self-assessment,
and then we can mention about the tax credit and any grants available.
Inshallah.
So inshallah we'll cover that.
And also for limited companies, you do incur penalties, you do incur fines if you don't file your returns in time, and if you don't file your returns at company's house in time.
I've gone through that myself. I've been fined. It was over £1,000 actually from company's house for filing the annual return late.
Yes.
Actually, to be honest with you, I actually filed it. I actually sent the tax return by post. Receive it. Now, for some reason, I don't know what happened, but they got it on the deadline. However, I quoted something, well, it wasn't accurate.
Wrong section.
Yeah, on the wrong section or something of the law or something. I can't remember exactly the reason. So they sent it back. So they received it on the deadline, on the date. So they sent it back to me, and then they said, oh, you need to correct this, you need to identify the correct law, and put 1983, I can't remember now the year exactly. So I corrected it, it was just a minor change. Sent it back. Of course, it was after 5 days after the deadline, and my company is a PLC company, so they charge you a higher rate.
That's right, that's right.
And then I got the letters and stuff like that, and then they said you've been fined. I mean, they sent me an acknowledgement that they did receive the tax return, sorry, the annual return, and everything. But they said that it was late by 5 days, and I said, how's it late? They've received it.
No, they haven't received it. When they receive it, it has to be correct.
Proved.
So if it's wrong, it's just like
you still get fined.
You get fined. Yes.
So on that note, we'll take a caller. Assalamu alaikum, caller. All right. So we've just lost the caller. So
no, I mean these deadlines are there, and we should sort of plan our affairs in such a way that we don't get penalized for nothing. Because to add insult to injury, these charges, these penalties which you pay are not tax deductible. You know.
That's right.
So it's really a double whammy, as it were.
That's right.
So we should try and preserve our hard-earned wealth, you know, by planning our affairs, but also making sure that we don't incur unnecessary penalties. And talking about that, even in this budget, there are some very, very strict anti-avoidance legislation. So, you know, some very clever tax planning, artificial arrangements, the revenue is going to look at those very, very carefully. So they are really tightening up on that. And that is again some of the things which are in this time's budget. You know, recently, for example, the Chancellor mentioned about the agreement they've had with Belize, Grenada, Dominican Republic, whereby they are able to exchange information with those tax authorities. So people who are holding these offshore accounts and they have not declared them, you know, they should be careful. They should try and come to an arrangement with the revenue. It's better that they declare it to the revenue rather than the revenue finds out themselves, you know, because if they find out themselves, you'll be in more trouble. And I know sometimes people, either through ignorance, not being aware, and ignorance of the law is no excuse, whether it's tax law or other law. It's not going to hold you in any good stead. What you need to do is make sure that all your affairs are pakka, up to date, and whatever needs to be declared has been declared. There are tax planning opportunities and you should utilize them. But you know, tax avoidance is quite legal. It's tax evasion which is illegal. If you have evaded tax, get your affairs up to date. Otherwise, sooner or later, I think the revenue will catch up with you.
But talking about expenses, can your, you know, like if you get charged for parking tickets, can that be used?
No, because again, you are breaking the law.
So that you can't use those things as company expenses.
No, because you know, that means the revenue is going to encourage you to break law, to not to file your accounts on time. These are penalties. No, you can't do that.
Okay, we'll take a caller just before we end the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Can I get your name, where you're calling from, brother?
Yeah, my name's Ibrahim. I'm calling from Sheffield.
Okay. And what's your question?
I just wanted to get some information about fixed savings with the Islamic Bank of Britain and Sharia compliant savings. What's your views on that, and is it a kind of saving that you'd recommend?
Okay, inshallah. So
yes, what I would say is we cannot recommend any particular product or any particular company. You know, you have